So you want to build a house? Welcome to the podcast by Statera Homes, where we talk about new homes, new construction, life at the Delaware beaches, real estate, and whatever else comes to mind. We're so glad that you have taken the time to join us on this brand new podcast, episode 1. You were here at the ground level. This is an event in your life, listening to this podcast, that you will remember where you were when this happened. And so my name is Scott Daly. I'm here with my co-host, Jacki Kovaleski.
Hey, what's going on, Scott?
And we are coming to you not live.
Not live. Correct.
Live, because that's not how podcasts work. So if you try to call us and get in on the show right now,
you missed it.
You missed it.
Sorry.
We don't even have a phone.
No.
So if you managed to call us, that's impressive in and of itself. So anyway, we're so glad that you decided to tune in. We hope to entertain and educate in heaping doses of both. And so we're just going to dive right in because you probably didn't tune it in just to hear our lovely voices. So Jacki, what is on the menu today?
We are going to crack down on new versus used homes. So a lot of people want to know what's a better choice, a new home or used home. And we are a home building company, so obviously we favor the idea of new. But that, for some people, might not be the answer. And so we want to talk about the differences between the two. Maybe the differences in maintenance, timing, paperwork, building codes, all in 20 minutes.
All in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we better get to it.
Yeah, location.
So just to give you a little bit of a background,
Yes.
New construction versus used homes. New construction ends up being somewhere between 10 and 15% of the homes that are sold nationally in a year are new construction, which means that 85 to 90 are not. And we think that is a travesty and a huge mistake, but only a huge mistake for the people that are buying in Southern Delaware because they did not buy a Statera home. But by the end of this podcast, you will know so much about home building that we will be the obvious choice.
Yes.
You'll know so much about Delaware that you can't wait to move down here. And you'll know everything you never wanted to know about Jacki.
So what were we saying about new versus used homes?
So the biggest thing, so if we go back into not so much about homes, but about real estate in general. And so everyone gets taught when you learn about real estate that location is important. And we are not here to downplay that. But what we are really here to say is that location, we think, should be driven primarily by lifestyle. So you're coming down here. A lot of folks are retiring down here. They're buying second homes. And so a lot of it is how you're going to live your life through the house. And when you get to know us as a builder, as Statera Homes, you're going to get to know the idea that we think how somebody lives in a house. So specifically, how they live and how the house accommodates that life is a very important thing. And location around here just doesn't tend to be key. Not that it is unimportant, because it's still important, but you're not necessarily worried about the school district. You're not necessarily worried about the commute time or the access to public transportation. Things like this, these are things that drive the location decision in a lot of other real estate markets that are not factors here. And here's the other reality, and this is all we need to say about this, is that a 15-minute drive can get you almost anywhere you need to be, except on a Saturday morning in the summertime. Yes. And that 15-minute drive, if you get a little further away from the beach, can result in a whole lot more house for a lot less money. That you can buy a $500,000 house that is near the beach in Rehoboth, and it looks like a one-bedroom condo. Mm-hmm. You can buy a $500,000 house that is in a town like Milford, Delaware, and it's going to look like a castle. So, and you can afford the car that will drive you to the beach, and you can afford the parking in Rehoboth that'll get you there. But you know what? For some people, they got to be right there, and that's their thing. Yeah. So we really want lifestyle to drive the location decision. So yes, that's it. That's all I got.
That was a good one.
Thanks.
Well done. Well, those numbers and everything too. That was pretty impressive.
People are probably still listening. They're glued.
Well, I hope you guys are still listening because we are going to talk about paperwork, which is everyone's favorite topic. So when we talk about new versus used, is there any substantial difference between the process of buying a used home or a new home?
Well, in terms of paperwork, there's probably a little more paperwork that goes into buying a new home versus a used home. just because you're having to make more decisions. The advantage in dealing in a new home is that you're dealing with a professional seller. So you're not, when you're taking a used home, you're taking two homeowners, and you've hopefully got some realtors and attorneys and mortgage people that are getting this whole transaction done. But you generally have people that are not professionals on either side. When you're dealing with a builder, builders sell homes. They should know how to do this, and they should have a relatively decent process.
Right.
Which really scares a lot of people. Oh, I could never, build a new home and all that. And I think that is a total shame. For some reason, about 40% of people that buy real estate every year look at new construction and then ultimately decide to not go that way. And I hope it is not because they were scared of the process. At least if you come and talk to us, you're going to find out that our process is simple. It's methodical. There is a lot to it because a house is a complicated thing, and we're not going to shy away from that. But what we are going to say is we're going to walk you through it, and we're not the only builder that has that process nailed down. So it's really not. That shouldn't be a deal breaker,
right?
One way or the other.
It is a fear, absolutely. But I think that the builder ultimately wants to take care of you, and they want good reviews. They want advocates, and if they're like us, they care. So
right.
That's something to think about. And one thing people are obsessed with is timing. So there are some benefits of a new build. You can generally be in control of when you want to start. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, generally speaking. So look, we're going to be honest with you in any of these podcasts, and it is almost universally true that building is going to take longer than buying a used home. It just is.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to run away from that. There are builders that used to advertise, we can build your house in 59 days or in 71 days. And
oh, man.
That makes me more nervous than the guy that says he can't. And that is, of course, I am the guy that says I can't. And if you want your house built in 71 days, you need to listen to that builder's podcast because we are not that builder. And we're not that builder on purpose because we ultimately think that a few days here and there when you are going to be enjoying this product, hopefully for decades to come, makes sense. So you can generally control it. And if you start looking early enough, you can still hit the deadline that you want to hit. But if you're going to look at new construction, and you want to move in 60 days, then you started looking too late. But for most people, the process that we run into is we're talking to them, and the process from signing a contract to moving into a house can take 6 months. The build doesn't take 6 months, but by the time you work out the financing, you make the selections, you get the house plan tweaked exactly the way you want it. It can be a total of 6 months. Mm-hmm. But if you know that, you can adjust to it. So buying a used home is going to be quicker, but you get used home, you get somebody else's dream. So
right, and you could be, bidding and in competition with other people for a home, and it could rush your decision or
right, and it can very easily be 6 months from when you put that house under contract until you are living in the house that you want, because almost everyone that buys a used home says, well, I bought this and here's what I need to do to it. I need to paint, I need to replace this flooring, I'm going to put a deck on the back, I'm going to do this and that and this and that and this and that. And by the time you get all that done and move in, and you're 6 months and you're in the house. Whereas you bought a new house, you got exactly the house you wanted. You got
you're ready to go.
You're ready to go, and it's the same amount of time, and a lot of times it's a less headache.
Let's go into that though. So new homes, they're ready to go. Used homes tend to be older. They have to be.
Right.
But the building codes can vary. Depending on when they were built, they could require some work.
Right. And so at least in Sussex County, Delaware, which is our market and it's what we can speak to, the building codes over the last 10 years have changed dramatically. And one of the big places where that is going to hit you is going to be energy efficiency. Mm-hmm. So 10 years ago, there were not a lot of energy efficiency controls on how homes were built unless the builders were doing them themselves, but builders weren't necessarily required. So you find a 10-year-old house or even a 15-year-old house, one that was built during the last real housing boom of the early 2000s, and the energy efficiency between that and a home that is being built now can be dramatic. I mean, 30, 40, 50% in energy efficiency.
It's really that much?
It can be that much.
Wow.
And it also, you're looking at the quality. So the reality of the downturn is that builders that existed in 2005 and then it still existed in 2015 got a lot better at what they were doing because they had to fight for fewer customers because real estate really took a hit, which everybody already knows. And so you're talking about a house that is going to be built to a much higher level of quality. And so it's got new stuff, right? An HVAC system has a service life. Plumbing has a service life. Hot water heaters have a service life. Your roof, it all has a service life. When you buy a 15-year-old house, you really could be buying a bunch of stuff that needs to be replaced very soon.
Right. Appliances.
Right. And doesn't necessarily have a warranty. I mean, a lot of people will go out and buy that $300 home warranty that you think protects you until you actually have to use that thing, and you'll find out that those things are not as easy to enforce as they are to purchase. Versus a new home has not just an enforced warranty that you got signed in writing that you read. You know, ours is a 40-some page book that you can look up. But also it is the builder's reputation. So we have a commissioning period. We recognize that we're human at Statera Homes.
Right.
And you're going to be in your house and you're going to find something that during the process we didn't get right, and you're going to call us. But we want you to say good things about us after you move in. And our business it depends on you saying good things. And so we're going to come out and make it right.
Yeah.
So that's a way that you can really look at the energy efficiency and just the newness of the house and really look at it in terms of cost of ownership. And so the cost of ownership of a new house is going to be much better. So
what about, so I read this online, so it could totally not be true. The air quality of newer homes, some people wrote that there could be toxic organic compounds in older homes.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Some of the other changes to new construction has been these things called VOCs, which is I think what you're talking about, which is a volatile organic compound.
You nailed it.
And those things were present in paint, in vinyl, in carpet, those type of things. And nowadays, by and large, you're not seeing new homes built that way. They're going to do a better job of moisture control and things like that. And so there's a lot less air transfer between the outside of the home and the inside of the home. And so that can help with your indoor air quality. And, you know, the way a house is built is just going to allow for a better process in terms of even environmental stewardship. And I know that's not necessarily a big thing on our list here, but it is, you know, whether you're getting, you know, sustainable materials and things like that. And most builders are paying attention to that. So, and that's an important thing.
When you move into a used home, there is the nightmare of something popping up that you didn't really predict that you would have to pay for. I don't know if you want to make up some nightmare, but is that common, or you pretty much have that checked out?
I think there's always surprises. So I think, you know, people that are experienced in purchasing real estate understand that when you buy something, there's going to be some surprises that come with it. So if you're buying a used home, you know there's some surprises. There's some stuff you didn't see. There could be stuff, you know, not that something was hidden from you that the previous owner didn't even realize. I mean, you know, no one can predict when your air conditioner is going to crap out.
Right.
You know, there's people that get 35 years out of their air conditioners, and there's people that get 7, and you don't really know who you are, whether you're the 7-year person or the 35-year person until it's a little late. So what you do in new construction is you really hedge. Everything's new. Everything is hopefully relatively close to, you know, state of the art, even if it's not top of the line stuff. And there's going to be warranties. So, you know, in a Statera home that if anything goes wrong with the HVAC system for the first 2 years, you're going to be able to call somebody 24/7 and they're going to come and fix it, and there's not going to be a bill sent. And then after that, you still have a manufacturer's warranty that extends beyond that. And so there is some peace of mind. And again, that all goes to quality of life, knowing, hey, this doesn't mean because I'm buying a new house, I'm buying a perfect house. It just means that I'm buying a house that actually has a company that stands behind it, and that's important. And
right.
That has real value in life. So I don't know how you put a dollar figure on that, but there is one.
When we talk about a new home, we can also talk about one thing we love, which is lifestyle and personalization.
Right. So you're going to hear us talk a ton about this idea of individualization, about buying your home. And the thing about a used home is, look, you're buying somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
Now, you might not be buying that owner's dream because they could be the fourth owner, or sooner. At one point, that house was built new. It may or may not have been the person who built it. It might not have been their dream, but it was somebody's dream. Except that it wasn't necessarily yours.
Right.
You know, and so you get into a 10-year-old house, and what you're going to find is that, like a lot of things that are 10 years old, they're not exactly what you want anymore. Mm-hmm. Housing tends to be somewhat trendy, and so a 15-year-old house is going to look dated. It just is. And so you have to be aware of the fact that you're going to personalize your house, whether that's I'm hanging a picture on the wall or I'm doing, renovations to make it mine. You're going to make it yours. And that comes not just with a financial cost after you settle, but that also comes with a life cost. Because if you're moving somewhere and you say, well, I'm going to buy in a great neighborhood and I'll just build a deck. So you came here from New Jersey and you know 3 other people that moved down here, but do you know someone who will build a deck? Are you going to ask around? I mean, it's just... Now you're in an area where you don't know a lot about the area. You don't know how it works. You're in a state that maybe you don't understand how that state works and the permitting process and things like that. And so that all has a financial cost, but it also has a human cost of I have to go through the already life traumatic event of moving, and then I have to personalize my house versus a new home. And you just, here it is, man, make it how I want it. And we say, done. Yeah. And there you go. Unpack.
Well, one of the largest financial investments in your life, I think you should have some control over it. Right. And that's what we preach, and we will, time and time again. I don't know if you want to get into that.
Well, we could talk a little because, and I'll put you on the spot. Like, when you go to Starbucks, Jackie, do you get exactly what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And do they ever say, no, we're not going to do that?
No, they don't even blink.
They don't even blink.
Yeah.
So, and I was with Jackie one time. This is a relatively famous.
This is not my usual drink.
She ordered a drink that literally it came with like 10 line items of either ingredients or instructions.
It was actually, I had to read it off of my phone.
Right.
Someone else had given this recipe, if you will, to me, and I read it off my phone, and the person just click, tap, 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 tap. Yeah, here you go.
And it was almost, to stand next to.
I was embarrassed.
I was embarrassed for you. Like, wow, everybody thinks you're that woman.
I know. I never will do it again.
Right? So everybody went home. You're not going to believe that. Did you believe that woman?
It was more of a test. I wanted to see if they would actually do it. I thought it was ridiculous.
Can you imagine what it is like to go out to dinner with her? Just for a freaking cup of dirty water, oh my gosh.
It wasn't dirty water. It was like a dessert. It was amazing. But I got it, and it was a cup of coffee. And that they do that for just a cup of coffee. It's amazing.
Is why everybody spends more money than they should at Starbucks. Right.
But we're saying, if you can get what you want with a cup of coffee, you should get what you want with a house.
Right, because a cup of coffee is $5 and a house is $500,000 maybe
or
more.
And we should make it, and Starbucks makes it easy, so we should make it easy.
Right. And it should come out how you want it. And yet, there's so many builders are going away from that. They're going more towards a streamlined production. So builders sit around and think, how can we produce better houses? And we're thinking more like, how can we produce houses that fit around people that want to live in them?
Right. What do people want?
And so that's one of the things you're going to get in new versus used. You're going to get to sit with folks like us who are passionate about what we do, who love what we do, and have some experience in what we do. Right, because everybody thinks they understand how houses get built because they live in one.
Mm-hmm. Or they have Google.
Or they saw this old house and, there's probably some nightmare home builder thing on YouTube or Netflix or whatever. And
watch a couple videos.
Right. So now they're experts and, anyway, so that is kind of a hallmark of who we are, as you'll see, is that the person actually matters rather than the system by which we build your house.
Correct.
So that's just a kind of a primer on new versus used as it relates to Delaware. In forthcoming episodes, we're going to dive into a lot of detail about Delaware, about building techniques that are probably applicable all over the country because they're just simple principles about building and just help you to think through and decide and hopefully have a laugh here and there.
A little bit. But we want them to become an educated buyer.
Right.
It helps. We care about them. I'm sorry. I just cut you right off.
You did.
No,
wow.
You go first.
No. Ladies first.
I'm saying we want them to become an educated buyer because we care. We understand the process is intimidating, and ultimately it helps us communicate with our clients as well.
Right. And it is. And it's an expensive, complicated product that you're going to buy a few times in your life.
Yeah. So listen to our next episode.
Because we're lovely.
Is that too direct?
That's.
Did I cover that up well?
No.
Okay.
I think that's good. So
we're keeping it.
And we know this because Jacki edits these. So that's just how it wants. So this has been the So You Want to Build a House podcast by Statera Homes. I'm Scott Daly.
And I'm Jacki Kowaleski.
And we hope you have a wonderful day. So You Want to Build a House is brought to you by Statera Homes. Statera Homes is a craft home builder in southern Delaware. This builder finds value in working with you to build a home that is the perfect fit for your lifestyle. Statera truly sets themselves apart from other builders in the area. To find out more, visit their website, www.staterahomes.com. That's STATERAHOMES.com. Or call their model home at area code 302-329-8881. That's 302-329-8881. Music from this podcast was by the band Defining Parallel from their recent single, Painted Lives. Thank you for listening to So You Want to Build a House. To stay updated on the most recent episodes, subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you found it to begin with, or check out Statera Homes' website, which is again www.staterahomes.com. Thank you very much.